Right.
I tend to forget about the players, and I'll go after the little ads, and then realize that I'm pretty much 3/4 dead in half a second, and I don't realize to just say screw it, I'm backing out, and just die.
Is there a word for him, Age? Is he
Special?
It's called scrub.
Scrub?
Right. Right.
What do they call him? Like
Right.
food? Or is it what was it? Is it food? Feeding? Is that what they say? Feeding?
Feeding is a term, yes.
Mm-hmm.
You're feeding the other team. You guys have been. I know. Or go ahead. I'm sorry.
MOBAs are serious effort to get into, especially if you weren't there like when MOBAs were new and like part of the initial wave of learning them.
Yeah, because now you jump into a MOBA and like League, for example. You know, what did it start with? Like 20 characters, 25 characters, something like that, and now there's 8 billion.
When League, after beta ended, when League first launched, I want to say it was 28 champions.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the exact number though, because it has been about 11 years now. But now I think we're at like 135.
Jesus.
Well, let me put it this way. This is when I last played League. So remember when Heroes of the Storm came out on Blizzard?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last time you played League?
The Storm was pretty good. Too bad Blizzard, is Blizzard.
I personally really liked Heroes of the Storm. I thought that whole game was awesome. It was a little slower though, I felt like. Maybe that's just all MOBAs, but was it slow?
MOBAs in general are a fairly slow game. Heroes of the Storm is actually ever so slightly faster in the early game. Like the overall pacing of the game was a bit faster, but the pacing of like a lot of the fights and stuff like that was slower.
Right.
So like the individual fights played out slower, but had more of a result towards winning the game, so the games themselves played out faster.
Right.
All right.
I think for me personally, like a big thing with Heroes of the Storm, and this could have been really mainly the reason why I liked it, was because it just the characters appealed to me. So like
that's why I liked it.
Yeah, like I knew every character. You know, I knew like when you saw their abilities, I knew it was based on their lore and things that they've done in their respective game, things like that. Every other game to me is just like this is lack of a better word, like generic characters, like characters that never existed before and anything else. It's just a generic, whatever character to me versus like these
Original
heroes
characters.
of Blizzard. Yeah. Like it was just
They're original characters to that game rather than something in a pre-established universe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
And that's the problem. We were talking before you came on. We were talking about MMOs and all that kind of stuff. And I was talking about how like I cannot for the life of me get even like the slightest feeling inside that I want to play anything anymore like that.
Mm-hmm.
I have no connection to anything. Like I don't have that feeling inside that's just like, man, I'm really enjoying what I'm looking at. Like I just don't care about anything. I don't know what it is.
Well, to be honest with you, and this is just, I mean, I'm gonna get blasted for saying this, but like WoW, like don't get me wrong, I've liked WoW. I like how it plays. I like about it. I'm nowhere near in depth of anyone that knows like it hands and feet. Like I don't know squat.
Right.
Like in depth, I should say. But if you were like generalizing with me, like okay. But to be honest with you, when I played Final Fantasy 14 a little bit, I was more, that hit me better than WoW did. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I loved Final Fantasy. So like the spells, the characters, like everything of it, I was like, all right, great. So you have that connection,
right.
You know what I mean?
It's funny that you say that because that's what we were talking about too. Age used to play Final Fantasy 14. I've never played it. We were talking about how, what's his name? Asmongold is now playing it, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And now it's like a lot of people are going over to Final Fantasy 14. And I love Final Fantasy, but I don't know.
Like a week or so ago, Final Fantasy 14 actually broke its concurrent player record with the whole thing of like Asmongold and a bunch of other people switching over to it.
Right, that's
like
awesome.
They haven't released any new major content or anything like that, and they broke it, and that like made a pretty big deal of like, yeah, we didn't actually put anything new out. We just suddenly got this massive influx of players.
Yeah.
Oh, wasn't there just recently, or maybe it didn't happen yet, wasn't there some expansion for that?
New expansion hasn't come out yet, but it's going to be coming out here pretty soon.
Was that Shadowbringers? That's not new. That's the newest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I remember hearing the name. I don't know when it came out, or I don't know anything
I
about
might try to get back into it. It's just, one thing that gripes me about those is like, I hate to say it, but like paying for a subscription on it.
That's like what I was just telling Brandon. That's like literally my big problem with Final Fantasy 14, and why I'm not still playing Final Fantasy 14 is I don't have a whole lot of time for MMOs right now, and
Right.
there's the monetization in Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, it's bad.
They're very price gougy for pretty much everything in their shop,
Mhm.
and the fact that they're a subscription-based game that has no sort of token equivalent whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
It's ultimately the reason why I'm not playing it. If it had a token,
Mhm.
if you either had a token or some other equivalent way to potentially earn game time, then I would have never stopped playing it.
Right.
But as it is right now, I can't justify
Right.
spending money on the subscription when I don't have that much time to play it in the first place.
Yeah.
And that's what, right? I think that's what also, like, I hate to say it, but I know while being massive Final Fantasy, getting back up and running again, I think that's what pushes a lot of people away from trying MMOs or playing them, is that subscription thing.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not the.
Maybe not as much as I think, but maybe it might be like you spend whatever on the game, and then you got to spend monthly or yearly or whatever. And I think that's kind of like where people are like, well, I'm already spending $40-$50 in the game. Why am I going to spend another $50 to play it for a year?
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people do play phone games. I mean, that's the most popular game technically, is phone stuff, and they spend tons of money on that shit. You know what I mean?
Well, like for Pokemon Go,
there's a difference though.
True.
There's a distinct difference between paying for convenience or paying for bonuses or stuff like that in the game, compared to paying for admission.
Right. Fair enough. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I can tell you right now, I know people that have played like World of Tanks. I know people that have spent $2,000 on all the tanks.
Yeah.
People are nuts like that, but like, it's a free game. I can understand paying a little bit here and there, but like, why? And it's the same thing with like Pokemon Go. People spend stupid money, and don't get me wrong. I mean, I've spent somewhere around $200 since it's been out for like 5 years now.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
It's just been. I think they just hit the 5-year anniversary.
Yeah, Ryu was saying there's no way sub-based MMOs actually need $15 a month for maintenance.
Right, and of all the players that are playing it, like that's my thing.
Right.
But I mean, like, I understand there's stuff that people are gonna do, like I'll call microtransactions, because it's basically what they are, in my opinion. But like some of it, like I don't understand. Like World of Tanks. I mean, we've all played World of Tanks, I'm sure, or something of the sort. You know how grindy that can be,
right?
Without their premium time.
He made a good point. They use the sub money to do stuff like keeping Diablo 3 updated for free with all new seasons and content. You know what
I mean? That I can understand. But like Final Fantasy, for example, shouldn't be close to that. My opinion, but hey, what does it matter?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm weird. Like I always have those itches, and I like playing MMOs. I really do. And I like the competitive, like, I don't play many competitive games, but when I do, I'm really competitive. But I like it. It needs to be to my, like, it has to work for me. And what I mean by that is, like, even with, like, if you wanted to be competitive with, say, World of Warcraft, for example, if we wanted to put together a 5-man mythic team and try to do the highest mythic clears in the world, if we wanted to shoot for the world best, right? First off, we wouldn't have the time, but let's just break it down. Like, if I wanted to do that, I get on my computer and I'm like, all right, I have an hour and a half to play. Instantaneously, I need everybody to jump when I say how high, because I only have this much time. You know what I mean? And then if someone can't, then you can't play, and you're waiting around. And like, that's my problem. It's not really have a problem. People, it's
trying to get everyone at one time.
Exactly.
It's trying to get everyone at one time, especially when we play, like, a lot of us, like, even in German speaking, a lot of us are all in different time zones.
Right.
So
Sure, yeah.
for example, like people that are 3 hours away,
Mm.
you know, we say, hey, we're gonna get out at 9 o'clock our time, like right now.
Right.
It's only 6 o'clock there.
Right.
It's like dinner time and other things. So it's like you're cutting into.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're trying to be, you know, be beneficial to everyone.
Right.
Where it's fair, but at the same time you can't, because it's like,
see, like
we can't stay up anymore because we're just old.
For me personally,
Yeah.
like my next thing will be like Diablo 2 and Diablo 4 probably. Like when they do the seasonal ladders, I'll do those. Like I'll run the hardcore ladders and try to be top 100 again. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like, because then I could challenge myself at my own expense, no one else's time. You know what I mean? Just kind of works better for me.
On the like time zones note, I not too long ago moved from Oregon to Colorado, so I shifted time zones by an hour. But all my schedules had to stay the same. So a lot of my stuff that would normally end by like 5 now ends at around 6 and is cutting into dinner time.
Right.
Exactly my point.
You could always eat while streaming like Blue Kid over there.
Dude, toast with turkey and cheese? Are you kidding me?
That's
It's
pretty
fantastic.
good. $15 just became the established norm, so anyone who tries to lower the price outside of free to play is going to piss off the rest of the industry. Yeah.
They don't want to piss off the industry.
Yeah, that's the same thing with the friggin' $60 AAA game norm.
Right.
Going up, going up or down is considered to be a huge stigma because $60 is the established selling price for AAA games.
And now those games are now being $70. Well, per console anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's for an example of like right now, yeah, I'll still play my PlayStation, my Xbox, so don't get me wrong. But you look at like a game like Ratchet and Clank that just came out. $70.
That's a lot.
You wait. There's gonna be a point to where games. I know. I've heard this before, and one of you would probably be able to verify if I've heard something like that. Stuff in Canada, games in Canada are like $100.
Oh yeah,
our money. Yeah, they're like $100 our money.
Yeah, other countries, in general, a lot of them, you have to spend way more money on them. Like Canada, the UK, I believe Australia as well, are like 3 of the big outliers on that. Of just like you have to spend upwards to like 50-60% more than you do in the US for games.
Dude, that's crazy. Hey, something like Ratchet and Clank to me is not. See, that's not worth $70 because it's like I would play it and I'd enjoy it, but that's about 10 hours of time, 20 hours, all achievements, and you're done. Do you know what I mean?
Right, but you know what it's cool? The name.
There you go. Go ahead.
Games drop in price so quickly, it's not even worth picking them up at that point.
True.
My own personal biggest time I've ever had anything like that was when the Tomb Raider reboot came out. I've always was a big fan of Tomb Raider. Like Tomb Raider was one of the things I grew up on. So when the Tomb Raider reboot came out, I immediately jumped on getting the game. $60. I had everything but the multiplayer achievements 100%ed within 6 hours.
My profile on Steam is the exact same as that. I have 0 multiplayer achievements, everything else done. Yeah, that's I didn't play the second one though. I still haven't played I forget what it was called. The Shadow something was it? I forget what it was.
They got another one coming out too.
I actually haven't continued following it since that game, just because I'm not a console gamer. I never really bothered picking him up on PC. If I even came to PC, I just kind of, that was like basically my final straw with console AAA games, where I was like,
right,
yeah, no, not anymore.
I got them both on sales. I think they were both like $10. You know what I mean? On Steam, and I played the first one. I enjoyed it. I haven't gotten the second one yet, but
good.
But I always liked it, and I always liked it more than Uncharted. And Dr. Sexy Time would yell at me for saying that, but I like the new Tomb Raider more than Uncharted. He would kill me for it. He's a big Uncharted fan. Not that they're bad games. They're fine, I guess. They're fine. Story wise.
I like destroying the Uncharted games.
Yeah, the story's awesome. The playing wise,
I
is
never
kinda,
actually played any of the Uncharted games.
the
They were what,
story's
PS3 or PS4? Or they were a combination of both, wasn't it?
It was, but then they did the HD collection or whatever on PS4. You could get like all of them. Yeah, they're really good. Like the story's awesome. They're like
the story.
the pacing is really good. It's just the controls are freaking clunky as shit. Like I think so.
It's like playing Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
Basically, they're that kind of clunky.
clunky. Yeah. We already know that TR is better than UC because Lara beat Nathan in a death battle.
That is true. I remember seeing that episode.
I just remember the original PlayStation 1 Tomb Raider or PC Tomb Raider. I had it on PlayStation 1. And I remember just going to her like training room when you're at that mansion or whatever. And I remember like the first time just swan diving head first into the ground and just laughing my ass off hysterically that you could do this. Like it was so dumb. But I mean, games didn't, I don't know, it was just weird that you could do it.
Yeah. The original Tomb Raider games were a hell of a lot of fun. Like I put so many hours into those ones. Way
Did you
more
not?
That's
like,
that
was
side
necessary.
flip, the aerial side flip.
Or the freaking the extra like flourish up over the back whenever you go to climb up a ledge if you did the button combination right.
I can't imagine. They have to live in my memories. Like I don't think I could ever go back to playing it again. Do you know what I mean? The original. I don't think I could ever play the original again.
Mm-hmm.
The old games really were super clunky and like they're definitely something that wouldn't have aged very well.
Yeah, the controls, I remember even then were just god awful. Just so bad.
Not actually being able to aim any of the guns, just kind of having to go off of, wait, is she aiming at them or not?
You're big into, speaking of that, you're big into game design, right, Age, for the most part?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's super cool. What kind of stuff do you normally like what do you normally do? Just like figuring out levels, figuring out concept of levels, like designing stuff like that? What are you more like
Personally, I'm most into character design, but I've looked into all sorts of game design through pretty much everything. Like I've actually been on a number of game projects, just they've all failed and none of them ever went anywhere, so I don't really have anything to show for it.
Gotcha. I gotcha. That's awesome though. It's a lot of fun, dude. I did that for a while, and then, well, you know my story. I did all that for a bit. I never got to make the game that I wanted to make, like my game. I never got to get that out into the public, but maybe at one point in my life that could possibly happen. I doubt it, but it'd be great.
Yeah, like at this point, I've more or less stopped trying to work on group projects and stuff like that because, like I said, none of them have succeeded, not because of any fault in like my own design work or anything like that, but always because people just
right
at some point or another, people just kind of ditch the project and it never actually gets completed.
That's what always happened. That's what happened to me with all my stuff, and it was just I can program such a small amount like that I would use for, you know, when I would add art assets and I would do little things here and there. I could do some small programming in C# to do that. I cannot program to the extent that I would need to program to build things in an engine. You know what I mean? Like I'm not capable of that. I need someone that's good at it. And I'm a determined person. I'm the kind of person that taught myself even a little bit that I know. But it's not the kind of thing that you could just sit down as an adult with a job that does other things and go, I'm gonna learn how to code right now and figure it out and be able to code a game. Like a complicated game. You know what I mean? It's too much work. It's not like for babies. It's not like a baby time. You know what I mean?
There is tools that kind of help, like pre-built engines and stuff like that out there. Like Unity is a very good example of like a lot of indie games just run off of the Unity engine because it's a free source engine.
Yeah, that's what we always use. We always use Unity because I love Unity. I think it's a fantastic engine. Super good. Hey, Doctor's there. Age up in here tonight. Absolutely. I don't know what you guys did for 4th of July. We'll go back to the game design, but I don't know if you guys did anything for 4th of July. I went up to Doctor's house, actually, where he had his homemade whiskey that he let me try.
You mean he actually has a home? It's not a cardboard box.
It's not a cardboard box, no. And he makes whiskey. I have
What the cheese? What the cheese paper? What the What do you call it? What was the cheese thing we were talking about? I can't do the name of it right now.
I had to Google search what cheese towels. Cheese towel?
No.
Cheese blanket.
I couldn't. No. What the
Cheese
hell
cloth.
was it? Cheese cloth. There it is.
I had to Google what that was. You know, it's not actually made out of cheese.
No, it's not.
I didn't know that. It's just called cheesecloth. It's not actually cheese.
That was a great conversation.
To answer Credit Card's question in the chat there, though, I didn't hire them. It was, in most cases, it was either indie groups where we were just kind of doing it as a hobby, or it was other people already had established projects that they pulled me onto because they know I'm good at game design, because I knew the person. And then it would always end up being like, oh, our artist or our programmer or someone would just flake out after a while, and eventually we would just cancel the project.
Yeah. I always had an issue with not an issue, but programmers, because I always worked with one programmer that I always like knew somebody, like knew the person, and it's a hard freaking job. It's hard to be a solo programmer. It's stressful when you have a full-time job too. It's rough, you know.
Programming is hard work, and artists are just notoriously fickle. Like, it is so hard to actually get an artist to commit to work. Like, you can get them to do like one-off things really easily, but then don't expect to see much after that.
Right. Yeah, it's a thing. I always ran into that. Like, I always did the art and all the animation, but I also like came up with the story design and the overall concept of everything too. So I was 100% like involved in that, you know. So I wasn't really fickle with anything. I was just super, you know, in the zone all the time. But it's a lot. It's a lot to do. A lot of friggin' work. Oh, please don't take any offense. The resident trolls in this channel. You're all good.
But yeah, that's one reason why I'd say, like, at this point, I've just more or less stopped working on group projects and just been kind of in my spare time trying to pick up like 3D modeling and animation and stuff myself, just so that way I could potentially do even just some minor projects on my own purely. Yeah.
That's sometimes the best way to do it. Like, if you want, like, I had a whole stint for a while, and I worked as like an independent contractor with that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you could just pick up contracts, and depending on what you want to do, like 8 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever, and as long as what they want, however many assets they want, whatever they're trying to go for, if you feel like you can handle it all in that time frame, hopefully faster, I mean, that's a good way to make a living. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now, mainly, I know for me, most of the stuff I did was probably some weird, you know, Chinese gotcha phone game, I'm sure, based on the art assets that I made. I'm assuming that that's what they're for, and you're just selling the rights to all the stuff away. Like, you can't, you know what I mean? You don't claim it, you get paid and you're done like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot. It's still, I haven't done anything like that in quite a while.
But I've always enjoyed
do it. In game design,
never got into it or nothing. So for me to figure out, I couldn't say the first thing to do.
Game design's interesting because you get to sit there, and depending on what kind of game you're making, you have to figure out a way to like be smart and like teach the player how to naturally do things in the beginning, so that you're not holding their hand at the same time they're learning. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, game design at its core is very much a puzzle. It is a lot of game design, especially in the early levels, is very much setting a precedent for the player of, like, for example, Doom. In Doom 2016, since you played that one and not Eternal, they have very visible markings on things that you can grab a hold of to pull yourself up on, that they establish very early on. You're going, you see that, that's something, you see that, and you try it in a fairly easy and fairly safe environment, and then from there on, okay, if I see this indicator, that means I can run and I can jump and I can grab onto this and pull myself up.
Yep.
So that way they can put them in more risky locations to actually make you have to learn how to do it correctly.
Yep, exactly. Even to go back like farther, even like more simpler, even take like the original like Mega Man, for example. Like you start the level, you figure out you could run. Something's in front of you, you figure out you can shoot it, right? And then something's above you a little bit, and the only way to get it is you gotta, all right, well, it's higher than me. Could I jump shoot? Okay, I'll jump. Oh, I can jump shoot. And then you kill the thing. So without it telling you, it made you do it, and you realize I can do these abilities. Like little things like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, game design, in most cases of game design, you are designing puzzles for the player, but game design itself is a puzzle from the designer trying to figure out how to actually essentially program the player to play it correctly.
Yeah, yep. I'm not partly responsible for TikTok.
Yeah, you are. Come on now.
That's pretty funny. Oh my god. What oh god, now that we have Age on the show, I got like a million questions now. Oh god. What
It's a bad idea.
well, actually, no. I want to ask Age before I start asking Age a shitload of questions. I know Blue Kid and Age. I don't know if anybody got a chance to check out Blue Kid last time he streamed. He's been playing Death by Dishonor, Death by Nighttime, Dead by Dawn, not Dead by Dawn, Dead by Daylight, Death by Daylight. He's been playing Dead by Daylight.
You'll get it right eventually, I promise.
And Age plays that game a lot. Age is apparently one of the best killers in the world, which is awesome. I want to hear stories. I just want to hear all about it. I want to hear more stuff.
I'm not like way up there, but I am up there in the top. Yes,
it's so much fun. Like I kid you not, it's fun. It's so much fun. I mean, come on, you were sitting there barking who you want me to play and just mess around with stuff. I mean, you were enjoying that alone.
It was only for one game, but Blue Kid did get to experience at one point trying to play Survivor against me.
I want to see that.
No, that was awful. No, he was Nemesis. It was not fun.
He got himself punched many a times.
I like watching it. I never saw Blue Kid play a Survivor though. He's always the killer.
Well, because it's just when I'm by myself. Like I do Survivor because it's hard to do Survivor by yourself. At least that's what I gathered. And great, there's four of us, but it's hard.
Solo Survivor, you can actually do a lot once you get it down, but there's a huge learning curve in that game, especially getting up in the higher ranks. Like when the game starts out, it's very much in the killer's favor because inexperienced survivors are weaker than an inexperienced killer. But the moment survivors start learning what the hell they're doing, it very quickly flips on its head and becomes in the survivor's favor.
Well, there's games that like I started getting up to with like the killers and stuff. I got to a point where I was always getting 4-piece, like hit all the kills for the survivor. Now I'm lucky if I get 2.
Yeah, like,
I'm at that point right now where like the stuff I would used to do in the lower ranks would work flawless. Now, forget it.
Yeah, like up where I play at in the red ranks, survivors, if you're not immediately pressuring 2 or 3 of them, survivors will have 3 of the 5 generators done within the first 2 minutes of the game.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah, it's nuts. It's insane. I mean, like
you are not on it, they will be done all the objectives and out of the map within 4 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, I will say I did learn a lot, like Age, like, you know, you teach me some stuff about it. I used to get really sketchy being a survivor when I heard the heartbeat.
No, like I started such a big deal for survivors. Like if you know where the killer is, then you shouldn't have like any real fear of the killer if you're playing as a survivor.
But like when you start playing Survivor, like your initial, like you think that like you don't in your head, you hear the heartbeat and you hear it getting faster and faster and faster, and you're instantly like, screw this, I'm out. But there's times that like you hear that, but he's not even coming to your direction. He's just walking by, but you panic because you hear it.
Yeah.
So you just take off, and the next thing you know, you're in his field of view because you decide to panic.
Right.
You've seen me in a few of our games where like you had already died and were spectating me. Like there's literally been times where there is a survivor running a killer circles around a generator that I am on, and I have completed 90% of that generator just sitting next to the killer doing the generator because I know he's focused on the other guy.
Yeah, see, there's a learning curve with that. Like even trying to think what else even with like survivors, like it's just odd stuff. Like just even like outsmarting them to get away from them. It's a task in itself. Like that's one thing that's rough to do. It's a lot of fun though. You really got to try it one time, Brandon, just for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't have it.
Come on.
I don't have it.
Worth it. It's free to play right now.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
The thing that gets me is that I have to learn stuff.
It's not as...
I don't want to learn things. No, it's not. Every game wants me to learn it, and I don't want... It's just... It's asking too much for me. They're asking a lot.
You can pick up the game. You can pick up the game and play the game pretty easily without having to learn much of anything. But it's really only if you want to actually get like good at the game that it requires.
When you get up in the ranks, you actually have to learn like what perks do what, what's beneficial for what, right? And that's when it gets more. When you first start off, you can nature hike it, and you're good.
I do have to say, what's it called? I have to show you guys something because I'll let you guys know. When Blue Kid was playing, all I wanted him to do was probably lose the match, but I wanted him to play as Michael Myers, right? And all I wanted to do was not necessarily kill people and like do the job that he's supposed to do. I didn't care about that. I wanted him to figure out a way to scare people, like to just be like,
so
stop and stare at somebody and like creep on them, peek behind a tree, just do like weird things that just freak people out. You know what I mean?
People run, and you watch it. People ran, and people ran. Like they just freak out when they run.
I was there for that stream.
Yeah, I remember.
But honestly, the killer you should have actually had him doing that on is one I don't think he owned at the time, but it's Ghostface.
Yes, Ghost. I don't have Ghostface yet.
Oh, from Scream, yeah. Okay.
Oh, he does it.
He plays like perfectly the way you wanted Blue Kid to play that game, because his thing is he has no terror radius when he's in his stock mode, so people don't know where he is, but he just sits there going around poking his face around corners and stuff, because like he actually does have a lean mechanic where you can literally like go up to a corner and just poke your face around and stare at the person.
I like that. That's awesome.
It's creepy. The worst thing is
there.
It's creepy because there's times that I played against Ghostface. I'd be working on a generator, you know, minding my own business, just like looking around, waiting for like the killer to see who it is. And you don't know it's Ghostface right off the bat. And all of a sudden you see a white face mask like behind a tree, like 5 to 10 meters away, and you just freak out because he's just staring at you while you're doing it.
But what I want to show you is so there's this guy I watch, and his friends got him into it. He's an Australian streamer. He's hilarious. I've watched him for a while, and his friends got him into it. And one of the guys that they play with is like, apparently he's really, really good at it, at playing a killer. And so I'm watching it from this guy, not the good guy, from the new guy's perspective, and they're all in Discord with each other. So like they're on a whole team of 5 of them, 5 survivors, and then the guy that was the killer would just get out of the room, so that way he couldn't hear what they were talking about.
Right.
And he was like, "Watch, this guy's gonna fuck with us the whole time." Dude, he did exactly that. He picked Michael Myers. I'm not joking. And mess with him the whole time. So the video is obviously through the survivor's eyes, right? And you're watching the video, and you'll see like the guy playing Michael Myers, like the guy playing the game as a survivor will be creeping. You'll hear the heartbeat. And he's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then you'll see him move the camera up. He'll look over there, and you'll see Michael Myers standing there like straight. And the guy, I guess, saw him, and he'll go and just slow turn his character and face him, and the guy's stream is like, holy shit, and then just slow walking at you. It was just so funny, dude. I was losing my mind.
So it's funny that you mentioned that, because with Michael Myers' ability, you have to stalk them. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now see, the mistake I made, and Age, this is where I've been watching a lot of that Ox guy, like the guy you like show me like videos that he does like for stuff. I watched a video the other day of how like to play each character's basics and like what kind of like certain perks will work with them. And I watched the Michael Myers thing, and all he does with Michael Myers is legitimately follow them around until he's just shy of 3, stalks him on 3, just instant downs him.
Yeah,
you 99 to third stage, and you just instant down him.
Ghostface likes to do the same thing. It's you 99 the exposure, So literally all you have to do is you get within range of them, you click your power button once, you immediately go into the insta-down mode, and then you stab them right then and there. And so they get no chance to react to it. They just see, oh, he hasn't exposed me yet. He can't one-shot me. And then suddenly they're dead.
Yep. I've watched Michael. I've watched it. I'm like, like now it makes me want to play Michael Myers better.
So when you say down them, you can kill somebody without putting them on the hook?
Yep.
You can, but there's specific circumstances that have to be met to do it. Your normal way of killing them is throwing them on the hook.
Right.
But that whole that level 399 stalking thing or whatever, that would...
No, so what happens is, I'll explain this real quick, is they're called Moris. And it's basically like a secret, so to speak. Moris.
Oh, there's in Morty's.
And basically what it is...
Mori is Memento Mori.
Oh.
Right, now you get it.
Not like Rick and Morty's. Okay.
No, but basically what it is that there's like a prerequisite, and then you can instantly kill them instead of hooking them. So like the main common one, like I think it's the pink one. I don't remember what level the pink one is. It was like legendary or above that or something like that, or
iridescent, very rare.
So basically what it is that after you can kill all the survivors, but you have to at least hook them twice. Gotcha. So like you down them, put them on a hook, they get off. You down them, put them on a hook, they get off. Then if you down them again, you walk up to them, hold the button, and they just do some action that can kill them.
Gotcha.
And they're instantly dead.
In Myers' case in particular, Myers is actually one of the characters who... Myers and Pyramid Head are like the two characters who get the most like readily available Mori. In that, like, Myers actually has an add-on that makes it to where it is significantly harder for him to get to tier 3. But if he's in tier 3 and he catches you, he can kill you outright.
Really? Just straight up dead?
Yeah.
Awesome.
He just can straight up Mori you if he catches you while he's in tier 3. But it takes him like 3 times longer to get to tier 3 than normal.
Gotcha.
I think I like that better than like I think in a game design perspective, I think the hook idea, the way it's set up, is a great idea. Like I think it's genuinely a great idea. I think for me playing it, I would want to just be able to kill somebody and not put them on the hook.
Oh, it's fun. I mean, the
Yeah.
game's fun. I mean, you would have to play it to understand. Like, they kind of have to do the hooking thing to make them make it at least fair.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why like so many other attempts at the asymmetric horror games don't work as well as Dead by Daylight, is the fact that most of them do just let the killer freely kill the survivors, and so it's too easy for the killers to just cut someone out of the game early on because they messed up.
Gotcha.
Right, because there's times that like you can turn around, like it's happened to me being a survivor. Like even if I wasn't playing with Asia, like there's times that like I'd be the first one targeted. For some reason, it's just luck of the draw, and I get down, and I'll get hooked twice already before someone even gets one. But then I'm the last one to survive.
Yeah, like you still can die fairly early on in Dead by Daylight. It's just you have much more odds of coming back and still being able to do something in Dead by Daylight from an early mistake as a survivor.
Gotcha. Maybe I'll have to try it.
You have to. I mean, like, you know what it is too, Brandon? Even if you do die, even if you got that one generator or something, that's something.
But now the summer sale's over. I can't even get it at a discount.
No, it's still free to play though right now.
I can't do that.
Baloney, you can't.
Because it's gonna go away. I mean, by the time I get to play it, it's like free to play.
True.
The time is done. You know, it's just not gonna work.
I know.
At some point in my life, I'll play the damn game. I'll probably love it.
It's fun.
I'll probably love it.
It's fantastic. I love it.
Doctor says, perform gaming abstinence. This way, when you play Battlefield 2042, the release will be epic. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be playing Battlefield. I can't play those games. Like I can play them for like 3 nights, and it's like they're fun for 3, and I'm done. Then I'm just done with them. I have to I never even get anything max leveled. I never even max leveled one gun in like any of those games.
Right.
I don't play that.
I never really got into Battlefield. Like I'm not much of a shooter player in general. Like the only shooter I have played recently, not counting Warframe, I don't really count Warframe because Warframe is more of a hack and slash than a shooter, is Apex. And that's pretty much entirely because of Doc.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been doing Dead by Daylight, and I'm playing Scarlet Nexus right now.
What's that?
So
It's the new anime Souls.
It's like
The one focused around like telekinesis and stuff like that.
It's not as Dark Souls as you think, though.
No.
Mm-mm. No, so it's unique because it's got two stories to it in one. Because when you pick the character, it's not the same story.
Okay.
So you have like you have Kasane, who's the main character on the girls, like on her side, and then you have Yuito, is the one on the male side. But it's two separate stories, but they intertwine all the time. So like to get the full story, you have to play both almost at the same time. So you got to do some of hers, some of his, some of hers, some of his, because then it all intertwines. But it's fun. I mean, I've really enjoyed it so far. I'm still not done with it.
Yeah, you guys keep talking. I need to disappear for 1 minute.
You're good.
But it's not really Dark Souls deep, Brandon. Like, it don't matter if you get hit. Like, there's not really a dodging. I mean, there's a dodging mechanic to it, but there's not really like a block or anything.
Right.
It's more of like a hack and slash with a bunch of abilities.
Gotcha. I never even heard of it. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It's Bandai Namco, and I never even heard of it.
It's a good guy. I like it. I'm really enjoying it. The story's good. Like the story, I'll tell you right now, if you were to ever play it.
Are you playing it on console?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say because it says Sir Tubby Buns wants this game.
I have it on my
but you have it on
Steam
console.
I'm waiting for it to go on sale for Steam.
Oh, got you.
I have it on console because I just happened to have credit. I used to have I had gift cards for GameStop, so I figured, what the hell, why pay for it full price and I can just. But it's very plot twisty.
Okay.
So it makes you like you want to keep playing, but like it's stuff that you wouldn't. It throws you for a huge loop.
Gotcha.
But it's fun. It's for what it is. It's fun. You know what I mean? It's something different.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm like I want to try. I'm gonna have to try Dead by Daylight or whatever.
Dude, I'm telling you. I mean, like I know you're not one for multiplayer people, but like you can get a private lobby.
Mm-hmm.
Like say like right now the three of us. If we did three of us, like we only need two other people to have a full lobby to ourselves, and no one would ever bother us.
Hey, it's not that. I mean, I don't even care about those people. As long as I don't have to like listen to anybody, that's all I care about.
No,
you know
so
I mean?
you don't. So there's no in-game chat, and the only chat I believe in that game is the text chat at the end of the match. Once it's entirely over, there's no communication, no nothing in it at all.
Right. Yeah, as long as I don't have to like see it, then I'm okay.
No, there's nothing.
It just annoys me.
No, there's no communication at all unless it's like I said, end of the match and you type it.
Gotcha.
And it's got to be the end of the match entirely, not like you get killed and that's the end of it.
Right.
You have to wait it out or just not be there. And if you leave, it don't matter.
Yeah, I'll give it a try. Like I said, I wouldn't mind playing something competitive again. I just don't know what. And honestly, the only thing I could really think of is like ladders in like Diablo 2, Diablo 4. Like that's like
right, but you still got some time yet for those.
There's time, right? There's time. Other than that, there's nothing else that really like appeals to me to try to do well in. You know what I mean? As far as
right.
like, with other people, you know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's fun. Like when you get like a private lobby, like you when you play it like randomly against like other people that are like not like us. Like when Age and I play, you know what I mean? Like we're with two other random survivors and the killer, of course. You kind of have to play competitive, but when it was like just 5 of us playing mess around, it's just a circus. That's what it is. It's legitimately a circus of screaming and running around and getting scared.
Can someone clean up the mess in the basement?
Doctor said, that's the people that say I don't want to hear others are the people that ruin the shit talking in games that many of us loved.
Call of Duty.
See, I don't mind
the
shit talking.
Got into that.
I just never got into it because it's always the people like that are always like the first person complaining are the ones that are usually really bad. Like usually the people that are really
but I'm
good
not bad at it.
Don't say anything. You know what I mean? Like it's usually
I never bothered with shit talking. If someone is clearly having a bad game, I just fuck it. They're not even worth my time.
Like I remember playing like StarCraft 2 because you could like talk to the opponent. You know what I mean in that?
Right.
And like I remember like annihilating somebody. And then all of a sudden my screen would just be littered with like, bullshit, you fucking blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, you lost. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Like that game, like something like that, like you can't really like blame anything but yourself for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I hate to face it right now, first person shooters between, of course, and I'm going to bring it back again because why not? But Call of Duty being one of the worst hacked games out there right now. Like Activision just finally announced they're trying to fight against mods, or like I don't want to call it mods. We'll call it mods or hacking on consoles now. Just now, they started. The game's been out for 2 years. But like that's like the big thing. Like with Warzone, like Warzone's a huge hacked series. I don't like battle royales in general, but like it's so hacked out that you can't even enjoy it. And the problem is that everyone does it for multiplayer too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can't just get away from it. It's there. There's no anti-cheat system in Call of Duty at all. Activision does not have it, which is surprising because of how Blizzard is.
Right.
Now, granted, I know they're only using the launcher and stuff like that, but like Activision should have nipped it in the butt from the start.
Right.
They should have started with an anti-cheat system in play, and they don't. And that's the problem. And then all these companies now came out with controller modifications that you can do, or, you know what I mean, stuff like that. Like, you spend $50 a month on a PC, you get, you know, wall hacking, aimbotting, stuff like that.
Right.
You get it.
I mean, Apex was getting hit by the controller hacks for a while now, but they've cracked down on it as far as I understand.
Yeah, see,
Right.
they're just starting to try to do console problems, like with the controller hacks and stuff like that. Because like it would be, I don't know how it was for Apex, like what the actual controller mods were for Apex, but like Call of Duty is no recoil, aimbot, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
There was a good, like, I want to say 2 months-ish of playing Apex where I was immediately suspicious of anyone who had the controller icon next to their name.
I'm like that in Call of Duty. Whether it's on a PC, like playing on PC with the controller, or a console, and it's majority console. Like you're thrown in 90% of the time with consoles,
Right.
but everyone gets the controller mod, so it's like you can't even.
See, I think my biggest problem with it is that I would take the idea of even if I'm obviously not going to be the best in the world, right? Obviously that I'm not going to be, but I still take that so purely. Like, I want to play a game that realistically that is the best person in the world that's playing it. But with all these games, every one of them that you're talking about, the aimbotting and the yada yada yada,
it takes the joy out of it.
There's no reason for me to even play it because I know I can never believe their scores versus my scores versus anything. It's all like not real.
That is one thing Dead by Daylight does have going for it. There is very little cheating in Dead by Daylight. There's only been like, I've been playing it since it came out. Granted, I took a big 3-year hiatus.
Mhm.
I have something like about 300 hours into the game at this point, which is actually pretty low for being a red rank killer, and a damn near red rank survivor. But I have only ever seen a hacked game that it was definitely someone hacking once in the 300 some hours.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, but even Age, how would you even cheat in that game? Just out of curiosity, what would be a cheat for that game?
The main cheats, when they actually do happen, are speed hacks and no clipping.
Gotcha.
Like clipping around like a turn or something like that, or getting through like an obstacle.
Being able to literally walk through obstacles.
Right.
Okay,
Gotcha.
I wouldn't know, because it's not like the game has a huge gist of how I could see cheating. I thought maybe if they would cheat, they'd be able to constantly see I don't want to say a box, but how wall hacking works. You see the box around.
That is another cheat, is essentially knowing where the other person is at all time, basically having the aura sight on whoever the opponent is, just as a cheat.
God, that's what I figured. I figured that would have been one, was being constantly have it, if you're a survivor, constantly know where the killer is, or if you're a killer, know where all the survivors are all the time.
Right. That's why, and I know I've talked about this before, but I hate that I keep going back there, but that's why I always found StarCraft 2 to be the ultimate competitive game, because it's 1 versus 1, no one's cheating, and it's the most balanced game of all time. You know what I mean?
Right. I said, if anyone and we were saying before, if anyone screws up on StarCraft, it's your fault.
It's their fault. Right. There's no
Same thing with Command and Conquer. It's you were outplayed.
Right. Now I get it. It's that there are RTSs though. I mean, no one's really playing RTSs anymore. I get that.
Right.
But I don't really know what other game out there would be that comparable to any person could sit down and challenge themselves in the world and find out how good they are at. You know, I don't really know.
You want to know why no one's really playing RTSs anymore?
Because they're not good enough to play them. I don't know. Sorry.
Name some new RTSs.
I can't. I don't know any.
The industry decided RTSs were dead, and so therefore they haven't really been making RTSs.
Captain Credit Card said he's banned in COD until 2052, and I solemnly swear that if that game is still a thing in 2052, I am unbanned. I will cheat in this game.
Well, what they're bringing out. Well, since we're talking about real time, I think Age of Empires is coming out with a new game.
Doctor said
they're starting.
Oh, go ahead,
they're finally starting to put out new RTSs again, because they realize RTSs aren't dead, but that was just the thing that the game industry arbitrarily decided, is that RTSs are dead, and they just all stopped making RTSs.
Right.
For years.
Yeah.
Doctor was saying that there was cheating in StarCraft 2. He said there was Fog of War and base exposed cheat. I've never heard of it.
I've seen them. Like Age of Empires, there used to be cheats all the time. You used to put it in chat, and you used to type in certain words, and it would do stuff.
I was full blown like hardcore into that game, and I have never once seen anybody do a Fog of War or base exposed cheat or anything. I've never seen anyone cheat.
Well, some of the things like that is there's some cheats are hard to spot yourself. Like that's one of the reasons why like one of the only real cheats that happen in Dead by Daylight is speed hack. And what it is, it's not someone dialing up their like movement speed as a survivor to 300%. It's they put themselves at like 120.
Gotcha.
So like you're just out of that reach.
They're too fast for you to actually catch up to, but they're not so fast that it's immediately apparent that something is off.
Right.
Because with the 120, there's a lot of perks that will give you a little bit of a speed boost to a 120.
Like 120, it is possible to potentially catch them, but they're pretty goddamn safe. And it's pretty much a free game for them. But at the same time, it's not super apparent that they're hacking.
Right. A doctor saying there's a new company from the OG StarCraft people making a new RTS. That's pretty interesting. I don't know if it'll go over well, though. I mean, maybe it will with like the people, like older people that have been into it. But do you think the younger generation would be into RTS now? That there's been this many years of it not existing?
Yeah,
really?
if you give people skins and different stuff like that they can spend money on, sure, they'll do it.
Well, think about it. How many years it's been? I mean, the whole generation of people probably never even played an RTS, you know?
Probably not.
I wonder how that would be. Speed hacks in SC2, having to complete structures and units to be accelerated. I've never ran into it. I've never seen it before. There's like, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, it's entirely possible. I mean, could happen, could not happen. I mean, I'm not really sure.
I mean, any online game, you're going to run into some hacking of some sort. It's just a matter of how well the company can actually cut down on the frequency and the severity of it.
Right. It definitely wouldn't be in the same issue as like Modern Warfare hacks. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be like the same thing like that. I felt like at least when I felt like when I was playing Diablo 3 though, and just doing like the ladder there, like trying to even get like top 100, I felt like that was like, I felt really good doing that. Like I felt competitive to some degree, but I mean, I have my problems with it. The fact that the whole, what's my biggest issue? Paragon. That's what it is. That's stupid. So maybe Path of Exile. Maybe Path of Exile is the game that I've tried 10 times and have never been able to get through, but
Path of Exile, like fucking, there's so many things wrong with that game. Like, I like the game in concept, and I put a lot of time into the game, but there's just so many problems with the game that it is so hard to actually just stick with it.
I've never gotten through it. The highest level I got was what, 50 maybe? 40 something? I don't even know.
The highest level I've ever gotten was 83.
Mm-hmm.
And that took a lot of effort, because even when you're not playing on hardcore or whatnot, you lose a lot of experience on death. And once you get past level 50, it becomes so easy to just randomly fall over dead to bullshit.
Right.
even with like some of the tankiest builds in the game, you can still die in a matter of seconds just because you got stun locked or something.
Would you say though, like say like solo self-found, for example, would you say that that would be a good concept of a game, like in solo self-found, to run the bracket and try to be in like the top 10 in the world? Is that like, do you think a fair run? You know what I mean? Like a fair.
There are people who still do competitive Path of Exile and stuff like that. It's still a very big game, but I just it is so like there's such a huge diversity to builds. That's one of the things I like about it is you have so much creative freedom with what kind of builds you want to run. The problem is because the way the game is balanced, only like 3 or 4 of them actually work. Right. Once you start getting into the higher levels, if you play anything but those handful of builds or like some sort of variants of them where you're only tweaking minor things, you hit such a massive wall at one of the levels that it just becomes pretty much impossible to progress, because once again you lose experience every time you die. So if you are not gaining more experience than you are losing, you will literally just hit a point where you cannot proceed anymore.
Gotcha. Okay. I said the only thing really left for competitive is shooters at this point, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't see how, because I think the most competitive thing in a shooter right now, to me, would be a battle royale. 1 versus 100. If you could beat 99 other people and you're the last person, there you go. Right. I think by design, that is the ultimate form of who's the best player. You know what I mean?
Right.
By yourself versus all these people, but we all know that every one of them is borked to fuck. So how do you even do it? You know what I mean?
Why?
It's not like you could play Warzone and assume that you're gonna get it every time, because if there's hacks and all that crap, then if it's as bad as everyone says it is, you know.
I am having to. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
You're having what?
Because at the store, I am having awful lag spikes.
Oh yeah.
And also, I also need to figure out why, because I got a follow in the middle of this giant rant, and my alert notification goes off, but there is no sound to it. I don't know why.
Internets, man, and computers and stuff.
I don't know, dude. Since day one, and I don't know what it is. I have such an issue with my alerts notification. And the sound doesn't go off. The alert goes off, like the notification goes off, like on my OBS, but the sound for some reason, and I don't know what it is. Just
it's something in the deep dark settings for how you set all that stuff up, because they changed the way they did it like months ago, and it's like all hard to even find, and there's all like, it's stupid to set up, but it's something in there.
I don't know what it is. It's just I can't find. The problem is like I just can't. I feel so bad because like I get a follow or something and I miss it because only the animation pops up on OBS. Well, if I'm paying attention to the game, I'm not looking at that, and I miss it, and I feel like a jerk, so to speak. But
so I'm just reading the chat, and I'm reading everything just in case if anybody's watching later, just so you know what we're even talking about. Doctor said League of Legends is still the largest esport overall as a whole. Shooters dominate. I'd say that, yeah. League of Legends is definitely the biggest esport. Captain Credit Card was saying that Battle Royale is the ultimate forum to show players who can make a good matchmaking system who can't, because there's no question who's the better player, and putting people with 10 games experience in the same round with people who got 1,000 games of experience. That's true. There should be a better system on how you queue into those things, for sure.
Yeah.
From a programming standpoint, that is very difficult, though. Like trying to queue 100 players together fairly on an entirely automated system, trying to program that would be effort. That would require a lot of trial and error balancing.
Right. Yeah, I'm only speaking about I never speak about like the esports stuff, because like I'm not even talking about team-based stuff, because that's obviously what the popular stuff is. But as we were talking before, I don't have time for that. You know what I mean? I only have time for just me. So like it's more like I'm only looking at it as like a 1 versus 1 scenario where you can't blame anybody else, no one can blame you. It's just like 1v1, that's it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's like so like League of Legends wouldn't qualify for me. It wouldn't work.
I mean, Killer in Dead by Daylight. It's you versus them. It doesn't matter about your own team play because it's literally you versus them.
What you're saying is I should try to be the best killer in the world.
I mean, you could potentially become the best of a certain killer. Like there is a ladder of like, okay, here's the best Amanda player, the best Michael Myers player, so on and so forth.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Really quick with Captain Credit Card. We were talking about how the programming is difficult to set stuff up like that. I agree completely. Like those automated systems to do that in the programming sense is definitely hard. But when you're coming in with games like Modern Warfare and the amount of money that these like somebody like EA has, or it's like or Activision, sorry, but it's like with Activision, it's like, are you kidding me? Like, just you have all the money, you could figure it out. You know what I mean?
The problem is some of that stuff isn't things you can just throw money at because a lot of it like physically requires trial and error. There is a number of different ways you program different kinds of programs. It doesn't matter how good of a programmer you have, they have to trial and error it because it doesn't work otherwise. Like that's the vast majority of, like, say, for example, our firewall systems in computers. Those programs, it's physically impossible to just program them to work. What it is why we really only have the handful of firewall softwares that we do is because they have to be trial and error built from the ground up, where you set up, okay, here's the base algorithm and how it handles these threats, and then you just have to keep exposing it to viruses and hacking attempts and stuff like that so it can learn what works against it and what doesn't, and so it can change to actually function against them.
Right. Gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. I just I'm thinking about this stuff all the time, and I feel like the answers are already out there. I just don't go down those routes. I have the perfect one because what's it called? Summer Games Done Quick just ended this week. It was on for a week. There you go, right there. That answers actually all my solutions. The speedrunning community. That right there as a whole is one person versus the entire world to be the best in the world at speedrunning something. You know what I mean? The same concept. And they literally, like, some of these people literally are ranked like best in the world, and that's all there is to it.
Right.
Ryu was saying matchmaking in any competitive setting will never be even close to flawless. I can't have a reasonably fast matchmaking process and have it find people who are close in skill. Plus there are people who re-roll and find other ways to steal club.
You're not wrong, Ryu, but here's the thing, then this is what people don't understand either. Call of Duty apparently brought out skill-based matchmaking. So apparently they put you in with people of your similar skill. However, the way they apparently do it is by any of the standards that you are close in your skills should be, whether it be rank, kills, deaths, accuracy, whatever the case. You know what I mean? So skill-based matchmaking, in a sense, they just throw people like, okay, your accuracy is 0.2%. Okay, well, that's probably 0.2%, but this guy's KD is 17. This guy's KD is 1. There's only one thing they look at, which is what flopped Call of Duty, because there came to a point that, and with the skill-based matchmaking, you're not actually with people your same skill, because in a game of competitive first-person shooter like Call of Duty, you could sit in a corner and have just as good skill as someone who actually runs around and plays it. Runs around and actually tries to play it. But where's the comparison? You know what I mean?
The game doesn't know the person laying on the ground in the corner versus the guy who's running around, right?
Right. So how is that fair? That guy doesn't have the same skill as me.
Right. Well, also, too, it's all algorithms and stuff as well. So, there's technically, if you think about like World of Warcraft, they had the MMR system for like Arena, and people used to continuously, like a high rated, like 2,500, 2,600 rated team would purposely drop their MMR all the way down to nothing so they could just farm their way right back up, like for fun. You know what I mean? And it completely
you'll
breaks
find
the system.
seal clevers and everything.
Yeah, seal clevers.
Again, honestly, it's nowhere near as good, like, if you just get into it now kind of thing. But honestly, matchmaking wise, some of my best experience in gaming is in League. Once you get to the higher end of the matchmaking system, it is actually pretty damn good about balancing it. Like, I have 20 some thousand hours in the game at this point, and it has been a long time since I have ever been put up against someone that I genuinely felt like, why the hell did I get put up against this person? Because they're that much better than me.
Right. Captain Creditor was talking about that Scavengers game, the free to play at the moment.
Game's fun. That's fun.
He said that they said it's still free to play because they said they're in beta, and not everything is perfect, so we don't want to take money from you guys. It feels wrong. That's awesome. That's a super good way to think.
That game is actually really fun because it's like a PvPvE, but it's like a battle royale, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, PvPvE. That's like the one that you were playing with the
What Hunt?
Yeah, Witch Hunt shit or whatever. What was it called?
Yep, Hunt.
Oh, it's called Hunt. Oh.
Hunt Showdown.
Yep, they're coming out with a new map sometime soon. Finally, apparently.
Yeah, I never play any of those kind of games. I don't know.
Hunt Showdown is something I've been interested in but never really got into. It is a pretty interesting game concept in general. In a sense, it's basically a battle royale, but on a much smaller scale, because it's like they drop like 5 or 6 teams onto a map, and there's 2 bosses, and only the teams who manage to collect the token from the bosses and escape win.
Right.
So there's only at most 2 teams can win out of the like 6 to 8 or whatnot that get dropped into the arena. And it's all about who can either kill the boss and then escape with the token, or who can track down the people who killed the boss and steal the token from them before they escape.
Right.
Gotcha.
It's a fun game to play. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It's just one of those of it took so long to come out with anything for it. They finally just released another killer or boss, we'll call it. I don't know. It took forever.
Yeah, that's the big gripe with that game, from everything I've heard, is just the lack of content.
Yeah, they just came out. The game's been out for a while now, and they just came out with the killer the boss just the other month, maybe 2 months ago.
Yikes. I would what's it called? I don't play any of those games. I have no why. I'm never excited about anything. I don't. I really are. I'm really not. I'm very rarely am excited for things. The most things I'm excited for are Diablo 2 and Diablo 4. And I don't even want to be excited because I'm probably going to get let down. But I can't really think of anything else I want to do.
Everything's a letdown anymore with games.
Yeah, like I feel like I've just done it all. Like that's
the problem is that games right now, you're at a point right now where everything's just pretty much a reskinned version of something when they add something. That's honestly, all it is.
That's why I play so many fucking weird games, because I just need to play different things. You know, like I have to do that because everything I've done it all already. Like we've seen it all, we've done it all. That's it. Like so now I just make it weird. Fucking the weirdest shit ever. Let's play that. Like let's get weird with it. Like that's what I need now.
Yeah, personally, most of my gaming time these days is just random indie games and stuff that I find on forums that usually don't go anywhere, but I mean, it's still interesting to at least see what people were trying to do design-wise, or like what ideas they might have had.
It takes a lot for me to be like, oh my god, wow, that was like really interesting. Like even take something like Undertale or something like that. That's fucking like that shit's brilliant. Like that's the kind of games that are like exciting right now. Undertale. And most people will probably look at that and be like, what is this fucking, looks like a Game Boy game. And it's like, or the most fucking brilliant game that was made in the past 5 years, maybe, you know?
Well, that was like, even like, I played for a little bit, the Biomutant.
I didn't play that one.
That was where I was telling, I think I was telling you about it.
That's a weird rabbit thing or whatever, yeah.
Right, yeah, but like that game, like, it went, I mean, it was hyped for a while, and then I was like, oh, it was a good game, and then it went, you don't hear anything about it, it's just done.
Right.
Speaking of random things that are redone or reskinned or whatever, have you watched on Netflix, or you might not have even noticed, the Resident Evil series came out?
I didn't watch it. Is it good? Did you watch it?
I don't know. I watched 8 minutes of it.
How was the 8 minutes? Were they good?
Pretty good.
All right, I'll watch it. I'm gonna watch it. I don't know when, but I'm gonna watch it.
It's a whole season, and they announced The Witcher season 2.
Awesome.
December, I think.
Do you know when the Resident Evil takes place, like in the timeline?
2000 is when it started. That's the only part I'm at right now. October of 2000.
So that would be like right around.
It's Leon and all them. It's old school.
So that's like right around the time of Resident Evil. No, because Resident Evil 2 was what, 1997 timeline, right? 1998.
It's so the way it takes place right now. It's the only thing I've gotten to where 4 helicopters in the air. 1 helicopter randomly went down. It's taking place somewhere in 2000, and that's the end of it. And that's where I stopped watching it because I had to go do something. So that's where I got to it.
Well, I'm trying to remember because I thought Resident Evil 2 was like 1998. I think it was. So if it was 2000, is that before Resident Evil 4 or after Resident Evil 4?
Hold on, I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you exactly who's in it. Hold on.
That should be before 4.
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's like right after Nemesis, like right after 3.
So it's Leon and Claire are the ones in it right now.
Okay. I have to. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see if I can figure out like. All right, so it's basically the way it tells you on Netflix is basically years after the horrors of Raccoon City, Leon and Claire find themselves consumed by a dark conspiracy theory when a viral attack ravages the White House.
It was probably before 4.
It might be even because when was Leon in?
Wasn't the president's daughter kidnapped in 4?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe the end of that is the daughter getting kidnapped or something like that. Huh?
Might be. I don't know.
It's the prequel to 4.
4 took place in 2004. I actually just looked it up.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I don't know.
I don't know because when was if they're gonna follow the video game series? When was Leon and Claire in it?
Well, that's what we were saying. Resident Evil 2 was based in 1998, I believe, or 1997, somewhere in there. Like, that's when that game's time frame was. Not just when it was released, but that's when it was in the game. It was like 1998 or something like that.
So, but that would make sense because that's technically years after Raccoon City.
Right.
So it could be like a prequel to 4, a filler between like.
That makes the most sense to me. I guess
I don't know.
We'll find out though, because now that you're on the subject, I found out what I'm doing finally. I know what I'm doing finally. I am going to, not that anyone really cares, I'm going to spend 2 days a week playing Resident Evil games. Probably Wednesday and Thursday. I will be playing Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. It's going to take a long ass time, but eventually 2 days a week, I will get those done. But in the meantime, I'm going to do other games, and I think I'm going to start with the hardest difficulty Torchlight hardcore run. I think I'm going to start with that. Like tonight or tomorrow. Tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to start it. You're like, round around, don't touch me.
We can't promise you that Doctor won't try.
Right. I'm excited to do an entire Resident Evil thing, though. I don't know why. I'm just in the mood.
I just want to see you get scared all the time. That's amusing when you get scared.
Well, you got a whole crap load of games for me to not be scared in. -2, I'll jump, and 2 and 3, I'll jump a few times. But 0, the first one, I mean 4, 5, 6, you're not jumping at all. You know what I mean?
Nope. 7 and 8, you're going to.
7 and 8, I'm going to shit myself. I'm sure.
It's gonna be fantastic, and I cannot wait.
I'm genuinely like horrified to play them, but I'm excited at the same time.
It's been so long since I freaking played through any of the old Resident Evils.
Yeah,
I haven't touched them in a while.
That's why I want to do it, because like I know the story, okay, like somewhat okay, but I cannot remember it really in a video game sense, and I just want to see it all again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot about the story that I don't even remember at this point, because like most of the original several Resident Evil games I only played back when they like first came out.
Yeah,
like Resident Evil 0 I played once, and that was when it was like brand new.
Right.
Refresh my memory with 0, because that was with was it Jill and Billy?
Neither.
What was it? No, Billy was the convict that was on the train. Wasn't that?
Then it was Billy, but it's not Jill though. It's
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. It was a character specific to that game. I don't remember her name.
The only other game she was in, I think, was what, Code Veronica, right?
You might be correct, but I never actually played Code Veronica.
I never played it
never
either.
did either.
I think she's in it though. I think she's only in Zero in Code Veronica. I forget her name, but yeah, that's her game, and that's like the prequel to the first game.
But anyway, but whatever happened, didn't Billy die in Zero or no?
We'll find out. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Rebecca Chambers.
Rebecca
was
Chambers
was the chick in that one.
Yeah, let's see. When did Resident Evil 0 come out?
2002.
Yeah, so 19 years since I beat it.
Doctor said, usually with the games that I play, I just minimize and mute the stream, but with this show, I just lower the volume slightly under my K-pop music. Thank you, Doctor. always appreciate. Always good to meet a fan. No, I just remember like I want to go through it all again because I like. I remember like there's like the 3 scientists that worked together to create like the virus and all that kind of stuff, and then they all fucked off and did whatever, and they're all kind of important, and they all come back throughout the story. You know what I mean? The 3 different scientists, and like you're in the house in Resident Evil 0 or whatever. You're in the house of the one. And I remember something about his daughter. His daughter gets turned into something, I think.
I don't remember. It's been so long that we're all going to relearn it because we have no clue. That's where I'm at with it.
I'm pretty sure one of the doctors was Spencer, the guy who actually got recently brought up again in Resident Evil 8.
Yes. There's 3 main doctors that are responsible for everything, and they all make a point in coming back in the whole series. Absolutely.
Yeah,
because the other one was in 2.
Yeah, which, like I said, if I recall correctly, it was one of them was Spencer, and that he's recently been like being brought back up in 8 as like he might be a potentially big thing going forward again.
No shit. Yeah, I'm actually. It sounds weird, but I'm excited to do it. But I figure I'll do it like it's such a long thing that I figure if I just do it like 2 days a week, that way I can do other stuff and. Then everybody won't be like, even more bored than usual. You know what I mean? I'll just,
you mean like your Crash Bandicoot run that took 100 and some attempts?
Jesus Christ! I'm pretty happy.
That was brutal for everyone. That's all I'm going to turn around and say. I got to
be honest though, I'm pretty proud of that. Just so you understand.
I know you are. I know you are, but I'm just saying, like that really.
I didn't find that game to be that hard, but it makes me feel good when I watch videos on YouTube that are like. Top 10 videos like big, and they're always like one of the hardest platformers ever was the original Crash Bandicoot, and I'm just like, oh, the one that I know death, yeah, that one, yeah.
That took you 100 and some. What was it? The death falling at 100 and some?
Doesn't matter, it still happened.
I'm still disappointed you got hit by Papu Papu 3 times.
No, that was in his no, that was his death animation that hit me. It wasn't like it was because I was No, it's because I was messing around too much, and like he would die, and he's like, "Oh, I'm dead." And he's falling backwards, and if you get too close to him in a frame or two, you still take damage. It's really weird.
Is that what we're going with?
No, it's true.
Sure. I think you're just not paying attention because someone distracted you. You're like, "Oh crap, he spun."
That was one of the worst runs though because of that my stupid computer bullshit and having like the VSync issues. Ugh. Like my whole video, like my accomplishing run just has lines ripping through it the whole time, but whatever. It is what it is.
It's life. You'll live.
I'm going to continue to have the problem. Like I just figured out how to fix it, but for me to fix it, I have to play games in like 1440p. If I play it in 1440p, it'll transfer over to my other computer and come back and have no issues. It's when then I have to deal with 1440p, which isn't a problem. But I've had a 4K monitor for like 6 years now. I have a hard time going down. Do you know what I mean? Right. Like I can instantly tell the difference. It's hard. Crash is bad, but Binding of Isaac, oh man, I could have recorded that and went back in time to Vietnam to give to the CIA to torture prisoners with. They begged for waterboarding.
Listen, no, your Binding of Isaac was not that bad.
Dude, a lot of people love Binding of Isaac.
I mean...
You hate it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But you know what though? At least but every time that run was different every single time.
Yeah, it's a good game.
It wasn't like Crash where like, all right, he's got to go deal with Pop and then died, or the dog, and he ends up getting stomped on. And
I hate Isaac on a fundamental level, just from a game design perspective. It is such a bad game. I do not like how popular it got.
That's probably why it got so popular.
That game was so hard though to no hit because it was so fucking random. You know what I mean?
Right.
At least Enter the Gungeon, there was like, it's random, but it's not random like that. You know, that was a lot easier.
As long as you knew what the bosses were doing and everything, and what each character did, you were golden through Gungeon.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Some people, like, I guess that's like a you either love it or you hate it game. But the people that love it, I mean, people have 5,000 hours in that shit easy. You know.
You still haven't done the No Hit Casey run.
I haven't even played that game since. I wonder if anyone's ever done it before. Probably somebody had to have.
No hit Casey run. I know Casey run itself is a thing.
Yeah.
But no hit Casey run, I don't know if anyone has before.
If it's not, I'd be more interested in trying it if no one's ever done it. Then I would love to test myself and see if I can do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone has done it before. I haven't seen evidence that someone's done it before, but I haven't really looked.
Gotcha. Really quick, a doctor asked me if my Eve monitor shipped yet. I saw they were shipping the pre-orders. I had an email a while ago to pay for the whole thing. I did, so I fully paid for it. I don't know if it shipped yet. I didn't get an email saying it did or not. And for whatever reason, I can't log into my account. Like, I can't sign into it. Even though I didn't really try to, but I tried to get in there the other day, and I guess I forgot my password. I don't remember. I'm having a... hopefully I'm getting it still, but I fully paid for it, and I checked my bank statement. They took the money. So it's... I hope I can just... I'm assuming it's just going to show up randomly. And then we're going to have all sorts of stream issues once that monitor comes in.
Oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. That'll be a 4-hour stream of just figuring out what's wrong.
I don't know what's going to happen when I get that monitor. It's going to fuck everything up.
Your stream is going to be named Computer Problems.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the end of it. It's just going to be 4 hours of you trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Oh, yeah. I'm waiting for it. I'm going to really screw it up because you have to, like, to do the two computers, you have to mirror one monitor. So, like, your graphics card in the other computer, your capture card in the other computer, the stream computer, works as, it shows up as like a monitor. You know what I mean? Okay. So you have to copy the monitor that you're using into that to form a combined monitor, and that's what you're using. So like, not monitor 1, monitor 2, I have to use one that's called 1/3, and that's what captures on. Do you know what I mean?
Way too complicated.
That's normally how it works. But now once this new one comes in, I'm adding a third one to here. So now I'm going to have 3 monitors on this machine. It's going to be a mess.
Man, mind you, when you explaining this to me, and I don't know if it's just because I'm brain dead or what today, I just went, and my brain was just gone.
I'm just going to complicate it more by, I'm going to add my old monitor I'm going to leave it on this computer. So this one's going to have 3 monitors just off this computer. So it's going to screw up the whole capture process even more, probably.
Probably. Speaking of random crap, I gotta figure out what RAM to get tomorrow.
Yeah, doctor said it's why I gave up streaming a bit, because Streamlabs doesn't like the 2160 120 hertz HDR. But then add in monitor 2 being 140p 144 HDR, and F that. Yeah, that's what happens. It complicates everything.
I have to, doctor, to answer your question. I was having computer problems, and apparently my RAM said, screw you, I don't want to work anymore. So I went from 64 down to 16. Let me tell you, you don't realize how how much that makes a difference.
Yeah.
You really don't. Like, I was so used to it that it was like, oh, do, and now I'm like, are you serious? But I had Corsair. And Brandon, you know, when I swapped that, it was within a year.
Yeah.
And that Corsair RAM is shot now. I don't know if I gotta switch my mother. Like, it worked for the longest time, so I know it's not a motherboard problem. but I got to figure out now if I want to stick with Corsair or if I want to go with some kind of something else.
I've always used Ripjaws. I really like the Ripjaws or whatever. I've had like a lot of Ripjaws in my day, and at one point, I want to say about 6 or 7 years ago, I had one stick go bad, and that's it, and ever out of all the Ripjaws.
I got to figure out. I don't know. I got to see which one I can go with because I'm just gonna run the Best Buy tomorrow and just grab one because I clearly don't want to wait.
The Ripjaws are G skill.
So hold on. I'm gonna go on Best Buy right now since I'll forget about it. Well, don't you dare overtake my main, you mother.
You mother.
Here we go. RAM. Go back to 64 because that's where I was at.
I didn't get to catch. I was at work. I didn't get to catch the last stream that you were doing with Ryu, with Divinity. How far did you guys get?
We're almost done with the game. You're almost done, right? Point.
Yeah.
We're in the last location at the moment, which we still have several things to wrap up, including like finishing. We're both trying to do like some of the big end game armor sets. But we need the last couple of pieces that are only found on this last area.
Interesting.
But we're probably going to need at least another like 2 or 3 game playthroughs on that if we want to 100% it, because of a lot of the one-off achievements that basically you have to do a full playthrough just for that one achievement.
Gotcha. That would be. I was surprised Blue Kid never played those games.
What?
Did you ever play like CRPGs? Like Divinity's Original Sin, or Baldur's Gate, stuff like that? I would think that would be up your alley.
Hold on a second here, because you know what? To be honest with you, I think I might have. I tried playing like Pillars of Eternity, and flopped on that real bad because I just got really confused with it.
I never played that one. I have no idea.
I did put
right?
in the wish list for Divinity, like Divinity. I did put it in the wish list because I wouldn't mind trying it because I've watched Ryu and Age play it a few times.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is something I wouldn't mind doing. And I put it in the wish list, but I never bought it yet.
Right.
Yeah, Divinity 2 is quite a lot of fun. There's a lot of replayability to it because a lot of the quests and the story and stuff like that has diverging paths you can go on. There's a lot of different ways you can play the characters because even if you're playing one of the pre-made characters and not like doing a custom character,
right,
it's still entirely up to you how you actually play the character because like there's no like class system in the game. It's basically just here's the list of attributes, here's the list of combat skill trees and stuff like that, and you can just put your points wherever.
Shit. Right. Yep. Yeah, that's some of those games are like they're harder for me because when they become so open and so when you have the ability to do whatever you want and they're not on like a rail at all, I almost like go off course. You know what I mean? I know that makes
that's one of the
no
reasons
sense.
That's one of the reasons why it's taken us as long as we have to get to the last area is because our intention is to eventually 100% the game, so we're going out of our way to basically do everything we possibly can each playthrough.
Right. Like when they give me too much freedom, I always feel like I'm making mistakes. I'm doing this wrong. You know what I mean? Like I always feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, that is something that you have to work on is decision making of like, okay, what is more important to do when?
Right.
Like that is actually something that bigger, like just more like purely open sandbox games kind of help teach you is like Minecraft, for example. Playing modded Minecraft, you very much have to decide, okay, I could work on steam power or I could work on circle magic or teleportation magic or something like that. And you kind of have to weigh, okay, well, they're all going to take time and resources. Which one should I do first? Someone will help provide resources. Someone will make things more convenient. You just kind of have to figure out where you need to focus yourself.
Gotcha.
At any given point.
You guys are still looking for RAM.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to order because Best Buy only does apparently Corsair, PNY, or some other. I couldn't tell you what the hell their name was.
Gotcha.
So if I'm going to spend the 100 and some bucks to get crap Coursera and not last me a year again, I guess I have no choice. Oh well.
Can't you just order it online and just have it like Amazon or something like Newegg or something?
I'm probably going to do Amazon. I'll have to look on Amazon and see, because I just...
VH Photo's good in New York. Newegg is fast. Newegg comes to me in like a day all the time.
Newegg, when I did Newegg for the SSDs and everything and the M2 drive, I think it was within like 2 days.
Do Newegg then.
Probably going to. Don't mind me, because I'm just,
We won't mind you. You do your thing.
Thank you.
What time are we at? 10:47. All right, yeah, we can go. I mean, if you guys want to hang out, maybe we'll just go for like another few more minutes or something like that, and maybe get off by like 11ish. I want to try to start another game or something like that tonight. At least get something going and see what we can work on.
Come on. Sorry.
I don't think I had to say. We didn't really talk about any of my anticipated games or anything like that, like you had originally brought up.
Oh yeah. I forgot. I did want to ask Age. I forgot about that. I wanted to ask Age because I don't know the answer to it. Because I mean, you've watched obviously Ryu, myself. We are always playing all these crazy weird games. What are your favorite games? Like, what do you like? What is your favorite fucking games? That's what I'm just curious about.
My favorite, League is the game that I have played the most. Like I said, I have over 20,000 hours in League over the last 11 years.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
As far as favorite games go, though, Europa is a lot of fun. My favorite MOBA of all time isn't actually League. It was actually a MOBA that never made it out of beta. It was Dawngate. It was way ahead of its time, honestly. Like, it made a lot of changes.
I heard of this
to the
before.
MOBA. It made a lot of changes to the MOBA gameplay that, like, I loved, and like that a lot of MOBAs are actually starting to lean towards now. But it didn't get it. It never got like a huge player base to it, and ultimately it was, I believe it was, I don't remember if it was Ubisoft or if it was a different one, but it was some other big AAA company that was responsible for it, and they just kind of killed it early.
Right. I know I've heard of that one, but I don't know anything about it. What else would you say? What's your favorite? What's the all-time greatest for you? Like ones that you'll never forget, just the best things ever.
I've always been a big fan of the Doom franchise. It was a super freaking janky game. Like, it had so many problems, but it was still really fun. Was the original Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, which is why I'm like really interested in how they do the new one.
Gotcha.
I put a bunch of time into Warframe, but I have mixed feelings on Warframe. Like, it is very grindy, so like it's something that's kind of fun to play just kind of mindlessly with friends, but it's not something that I really would ever be all that interested in doing solo anymore.
Right. I have a hard time myself finding like doing games with.
How about like do you got anything like weird or like game for, let's say, like game design wise, like any game that, and it may not be a popular game, it doesn't really matter, like just something that's super
design wise.
Yeah, like
design wise,
speaks to design wise, like this shit's brilliant.
I guess a totally random game that design wise was probably like really interesting to me, just purely for the simplicity of it, was One Finger Death Punch. Yeah, it's literally a game with 2 buttons, but yet it's a like full game that actually like I got really into for quite some time.
Never heard of it.
You'd love it.
It's It's literally just
What is it
a
called?
martial arts style stick game where you left click or you right click, and that is the game.
One finger death punch.
But the execution of it, like, it is actually really fun to just get into and get invested in.
Almost like a
What
really...
the? Seriously?
Yeah, dude, you'd love that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
They made a sequel, but I never actually played it.
Number 2.
Obviously, I'm also super into the Persona series. I know so much about that freaking series.
Yeah, I know you're a big Persona guy.
I like Persona. I'm not in depth of knowing like you the way you guys are with it, but Persona I really liked.
While you're thinking of that, Big Ben, did they give you a release date? Do we know have a release date yet on when Hades is coming to PS5? Or I thought that released already. Maybe not.
Switch.
Oh, on Switch it did. Right. Okay, never mind. Sorry. August it comes out on PS5.
August 13th. August 13th on PS4 and PS5.
Got it.
In general, I've always been more of like a turn-based RPG.
I love turn-based. Like
Yeah,
I liked the
you guys
like
are both turn-based, yeah.
I like turn-based. See, that's what kind of hated me with Final Fantasy was turn-based. It's like I liked playing like 10, where you actually had time to figure out what to think. You know what I mean? Like sit there and think.
Gameplay-wise, 10-2 is the best game in the Final Fantasy series, in my opinion. Story was mediocre at best, but gameplay-wise, like the actual combat, 10-2 is the best of the series.
I just hated how like it wasn't like when it was your turn, like you're one of your character's turns, the enemy can still attack and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like you had to think too quickly. Like I like to sit there, like when I played Final Fantasy 10 or like 7 or any of them, like you had time to think, to know like to play your move. You know what I mean?
I'm fine with the speed chess aspects of 10-2, especially because there were ways you could essentially delay it with certain actions. Like, for example, there were plenty of times where I would literally class change and just let the animation play just to give myself a second to, like, okay, figure out what my next move was going to be.
Right.
Because a lot of the class change animations were anywhere from like 5 to 15 seconds long, which is usually more than enough time for me to get my plan back together if I was falling apart because some random thing happened.
You can get 10-2 on PC.
Yeah, you get 10 and 10-2 on PC. Yeah.
10 and 10-2 are on a bundle. Yeah, I've contemplated getting it, but I just haven't got around to.
I'm sitting here like, now I'm looking at it. I'm like, do I need this? Do I have to get this?
I have it. I just haven't downloaded it to play it yet.
Like I said, I've played 1, 2, 6, 7. Oh, actually, no, I never played 7. That's actually one of the weird things for me for Final Fantasy is I never actually played 7.
Mm.
I played 8, 9, played 11, 13. I played 14, but that's the multiplayer one. I played 13-2. I played 10-2. And like, of all of those, gameplay-wise, 10-2 is far and beyond my favorite. Once again, mediocre story, but just the actual, like, enjoying the gameplay and the combat and stuff like that.
I don't remember her name in that game. God, she's the most suggestive dressed character of all the Final Fantasies.
Riku?
Oh, Riku?
Riku, yes. Because she has her, like, thong thing shooting up her side, and I'm just like, holy shit! Like, that's very, very, yeah. I'm probably gonna have to buy these games now, aren't I?
You are. But what was the one they just announced for Final Fantasy that they're redoing? What was it, Pixel something, or?
I don't know what that is.
Apparently, from my understanding, it's like 1, 2, and 3 or something like that.
Not counting, I mean, outside of the like the core, just numbered Final Fantasies, I also did Tactics Advanced, and Tactics 2.
Gotcha. Okay, I knew it was something like that. I just wasn't sure what exactly it was.
Another big game series that I was really, really invested in and were very bummed out with how the series kind of ended was Advanced Wars.
Advanced Wars.
I loved Advanced Wars.
Never played it.
But so Advanced Wars, there was 4 games for Advanced Wars.
Okay.
But they decided to essentially remake the series for the 4th game, completely axing all of their pre-established characters and everything like that. And then that 4th game totally flopped because they got rid of all their previously established characters and everything like that, and everyone was like, what the fuck is this?
Gotcha. Okay.
And so then that killed the series.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it before, that game.
It was a extremely good just like classic turn-based RPG, turn-based strategy game.
Gotcha. You know, Big Ben said he's playing Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun. I'm looking at it on Steam right now. It's overwhelmingly positive reviews. A hardcore tactical stealth game set in Japan. Pretty interesting, huh? All I can think about is Final Fantasy X now, and I played 10 too, but I don't remember it. I remember 10 because I remember stupid Titus and his stupid clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, 10-2, the story in it was very mediocre. There's not much story to begin with. It was more or less just kind of a fuck it. People like 10, let's just make more 10. Yeah. But like I said, just gameplay wise, it was just that game was so much fun because of the way the combat works in it.
Right.
All I remember is Titus's dumb clothes, guy with the arms in his arm in his jacket.
Aaron.
Waka Waka
Yep.
guy. Is that his name? Waka?
Waka was the guy that had the Blitzball.
Blitzball. I remember Blitzball, and I remember Riku or whatever.
So you had...
Aaron still to this day one of the coolest Final Fantasy characters in the series.
100%. Then you had Kamari and Yuna.
Yuna, yeah, that was the main girl.
Yep, Kamari was the lion dude.
That is one thing, 10 to 10-2 comparison wise, I definitely preferred Yuna in 10-2 to 10. Like, Yuna always bugged the hell out of me in 10 for whatever reason. I did not like her as a character.
Why? Because she was like immature and stuff?
10-2, she still wasn't great, but I liked her more than 10. Like, I was at least fine with her in 10-2.
I have to play them again. I don't remember anything about the story at all. Like, I just don't remember them at all. Don't they go in space, or am I thinking of Final Fantasy 8? I think I'm thinking of 8. When they literally go in
10, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's no space travel in 10. It's pretty much all about, like, going around on, like, boats between islands and shit like that.
I'm thinking about 8, when they got in a rocket and literally go to, like, the moon. It makes no sense. It was 8, yeah. What else was I gonna say? The oh god, what was it on Final Fantasy? I don't remember what it was. I had something to say about it, and for the life of me, I cannot remember. Never mind me. Sorry. It'll come to me at the worst time, I'm sure. Yeah, I can't remember any of that. You never played 7 when you were young?
No, I never played 7. That was like one of the only Final Fantasy games I didn't play, and it's the one that everyone freaking raves about.
Did you play any of the offshoots of Final Fantasy games, like the weird ones, like what was it, like Vincent, like the God, what was it? Cerberus? Was it called Final Fantasy Cerberus? Was that it?
I remember what you're talking about. It was like
a
Vincent's
third-person
story?
shooter with Vincent. Yeah, you're like a third-person shooter.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
Like the only non-mainline Final Fantasy games I played, like I said, was the tactics games. I played all of them.
They were awesome. They may have been one. They were some of the best. They were awesome. Yeah,
well, what they had that Final Fantasy game that was like a team-based like 3v3 battle game. Final Fantasy that was like Deseta or something like that, or
I have no idea.
I do. Hold on.
Dissidia?
Was it Dissidia? It was something like that. I don't remember.
Dissidia.
And Brandon, you were thinking the Dirge of Cerberus.
Dirge of Cerberus, that's it. Yeah. That game was terrible.
Yeah, it was Dissidia Age. That's what it was.
Another random series that hopefully does better, and that I'm actually kind of looking forward to. I knew there was one more that I couldn't remember. Disciples.
What's that?
Old turn-based, like it was a mix between like a turn-based RPG and a turn-based strategy game.
Gotcha. Okay.
I really, really liked the second game, but then a new studio came in to make the third game, and they totally screwed it up. And I figured the series was dead, in all honesty. But then on your stream, when you were you guys were just watching the random stuff from like E3 and stuff like that, there was the random new thing for the new Disciples game coming out, and apparently it's another new studio has picked up the IP, and they're remaking the series with more of an emphasis on the RPG side of things, and kind of putting more of the strategy stuff, the like strategy base building and everything more to the side to make it more of an RPG.
All right. Oh, I think
I really liked the Disciples 2 back in the day.
Gotcha. I was gonna say one quick thing. You know what I did the last few days? Over the last week. I don't know why I had it in my head, and I was just trying to do some stuff. I realized something. I was going through and playing ARPGs again, right? I ran through a bunch of them. I just farting around. I was playing, Torchlight and all that stuff. I played Last Epoch again. Pretty much every ARPG I just ran through, I started playing. To this day, Wilson still plays the best. I hate to say it. Wilson plays the best. There's no way around it. I fired up Wilson, and I was like, I started it. I even started a new character just to see what was going on. I went in there and I was like, holy fuck, I don't care what anyone says. This is one of the best feeling ARPGs known to man, period. It is one of the best. It looks amazing. It is just awesome. And there's a new patch, I guess, coming out. Well, new patches have come out, but there's another one coming out, I think in like August or September or October, somewhere in there, that apparently it's like a whole shitload of content, like more coming into it. So now I'm thinking when this patch comes out, I might jump back into it, just so I can start from scratch and have a whole new experience. You know what I mean?
I haven't actually seen any of Wilson. Like, I've never really been much of an ARPG person in the first place. Like,
gotcha.
Pretty much the only ARPGs that I've actually put any significant time into was way back in the day, Diablo 2, and then Path of Exile.
Gotcha. Wilson is like, it's done with Unreal 4, I guess. Yeah, I think it's Unreal 4 that they're using, and it is fascinating to look at. Like, it's by far the best looking ARPG known to man. No way around it. But it's the controls, it feels good. It feels right. It feels way better than Path of Exile. It feels way better than Last Epoch. Even though I'm digging Last Epoch, it feels way better than that. Way better. It's like, it feels like it's on that Diablo level of control. Diablo 3 level of feel. You know what I mean?
I've had a few people try to get me into Last Epoch already, but like, I don't really play ARPGs, and the fact that Last Epoch still doesn't have multiplayer, there's no reason for me to get into it. I have it, like, I could fart around with it. It hasn't got me yet. They do a thing in it that drives me fucking crazy, and I can't get past it. And I'm gonna complain. And honestly, it might be the reason I never play. No, I'm serious.
Here we go. Here goes a Brandon rant.
It's gonna be the reason why I'll never play. That I'm gonna end up not playing this game once it releases. It feels fine. It performs fine now. Everything's great. They have this thing where you guys have played ARPGs. You know how they work, right? You have left click, you got right click, you have, say, X amount of keybinds. Let's just say 1 through 5 to make it easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So what does that tell you? That means that you could put 5 skills on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 skill on left click, 1 skill on right click, right? So you have 7 skills total, right? Now, what this game does, for whatever reason, Last Epoch, is on your left click, the coding isn't programmed to you just drop the item you want. Like, let's call the ability Dick Punch, right? You can't just put Dick Punch on left click And then when you hit left click and nobody's around, you start walking wherever you want to go to. And once somebody's in contact, like next to you, and you click on them, you do dick punch. You know what I mean? It doesn't know how to do that. So instead, you have to use the left click, and you have to tell the action bar for left click. You have to tell it to do a move action, and then use this ability if you want to do an ability. However, the ability you have to tell it to use has to be on keybinds 1 through 5. So essentially, you lose a keybind. You know what I mean? It's so dumb. I can't stand it. Yeah, wank punch.
Us. I can't believe you sat there and called the move dick punch.
Well, I couldn't think. That's
because
the first thing that came to mind.
There were so many other words you couldn't say there. And
Sure there was.
Dick punch.
Another random game on the whole, like, doesn't even necessarily have to be an amazing game, just really interesting design. Receiver. Very, very small indie game. Not a whole lot to it, except for the gunplay is actually really interesting.
Is that the one that's coming out?
No, this has been out for a while.
Okay.
I think I do know Receiver 2 is a thing that looks like it's fairly recent, but I haven't looked really into it. But the original Receiver, it's a very simple, just like working your way through like simple geometry levels, and there's only like 2 or 3 enemy types. But the gunplay itself is actually really interesting because essentially it's a gun simulator. Because like you have to manually load the bullets into the magazine before you can load the magazine into the gun, and you have to like keep track of the rounds yourself. It doesn't just have like a HUD for it.
Right.
You have to manually hold up and aim the gun specifically for weak points on the enemies. You can't just kind of spray and pray and reduce their health bars. Like there's a lot of complexity to the gunplay itself that was really interesting. There just wasn't a whole lot of actual like gameplay because it was just RNG levels with the same like 2 or 3 enemies in it.
It's fantastic.
It is fantastic. I'll tell you a thing if you guys want to hear something funny, because he's saying dick punch.
God.
He's saying dick punch, and you're talking about a really good game design, which made me put 2 and 2 together. And I'll tell you guys an idea of a game that I had a while ago. I never made it, and I probably will never get around to it. So if anybody wants to steal the idea, go right ahead. Just make the game, and I'll be happy. I had an idea.
Oh, here we go.
Oh man, this is a good one. Now, keep in mind that
make sure Doctor's around for this one. Make sure Doctor is around for this comment.
Keep in mind that half the point of this game, right, is like everything about it is it's gonna go a little bit extreme, but I'm trying to get as many people that play it, even whether they hate the idea, they're gonna want to see what it is. You know what I mean? I want to make a mobile game, right?
Oh God,
called Fully Torqued, right? Fully Torqued. What it is you control. It's a balancing act. You control a boner, right? It's a boner, and its its testicles are wheels, like wheels.
Okay.
And you're going down the highway, and you got to use the tablet to balance the boner, right? And here's what happens. It's a really big one. And at the end of the drive, like at the end of what you're getting to, could be anything. It could be like, say, a city. So we'll use New York City. The entire New York City is here, and you have to be able to use and defy like the physics that are. It's going to be the highest calibrated physics engine known to man. Also, by the way, this is the highest level of physics possible. And the way that you have to balance it, you have to purposely get the boner back and then slam it forward onto whatever it is, like the city, and you're going to annihilate the entire city. And it's going to be hard as hell to balance it and do all the balancing correctly. And there'll be upgrades. You could upgrade like the size of the vein going through everything. You could, there's so much to work with this game. There's so much to work with. Fully
all
torqued.
I'm picturing is someone driving a car with a giant dildo on top of it.
No,
towards the city.
It's not going to be a car. It's just going to be the actual motor. His balls are going to be the wheels spinning. I think that's awesome. I think it sounds like it's weird, but when people play it, they're going to go, holy shit, this is the best physics I've ever seen in a video game known to man.
So I need
can't
to ask,
believe how this works.
I'm not going to ask.
You're gonna have to
ask
like
off stream because I know what's going to happen.
You're driving and you have to make it go back, and then you have to make it forcefully go forward and to smash whatever you're about to run into.
Is it actually dick or is it like blocks?
No, it's like a full blown wiener.
So what happens? Like, is there a meter that if you don't get there in time, it gets too soft?
Boner hammer, exactly. No, it's nothing to do with being soft. The difficulty is going to be being able to keep it up and keep the speed going, right? And then being able to pull it back while moving and lunging it forward and being able to smash whatever is there. It's going to be difficult.
Oh, it's like a wrecking ball.
It's like a wrecking ball, but with perfect physics that you're going to have to control with your tablet or phone or whatever. You know, you get scores, you level up, you get points, you level up.
Ask the magical question. I'm going to regret this.
Level up your ball size, and like that might make it go faster.
Where
or something.
did you come up with this?
Dude, my brain's fucking weird, man.
You were way too much invested in this.
I know
something about a boner.
Because I don't know what sparked it in my head. This was years ago. I thought of it. I don't know what game it was. It was just a simple game because I was just trying to like every game I ever tried to make was always really complicated. And then I played a game that was really simple on the tablet, I think, and I was just like, the fuck can't I just do a simple game for once? And then somehow
you thought of a boner of all things.
I just thought it was funny. I don't know. I thought it was funny, and it's pretty funny. You've certainly thought this through. I definitely thought it through. Absolutely.
That part is you still remember this after all these years.
How could you forget it? It's a brilliant idea, and you know people would play it. Why wouldn't they? I mean, not only for the perfect physics and like, you know, the awards you'd win for the physics engine, of course, not just for that.
So I do need to ask, who is driving this car?
Well, you don't see anything. It's just a wiener. Like it's not like vertically up and there's like a cockpit with little people
not driving the wiener.
People aren't sitting in it driving it.
So you mean you're telling me there's no guidance? The sperm have nothing to do with it.
Take a wiener and some balls, and the balls move like wheels, and that's it.
You have a lot to still think about with this.
No, I know. I mean, there's a full upgrade path.
Who starts it? Like, how do they get it going initially?
We don't have to. It's a video game. How does Mario go down a fucking plumbing pipe and save the princess? You know what I? You don't need to know. Because
he's the plumber. He plays with pipes all the time.
We don't know how. We don't. That's it's. What am I still doing here?
I ask myself this every weekend.
I'm telling you, there's ways you can do upgrades. It seems crazy, but I guarantee you, there's people that are going to be like, "What are you talking?" Somebody would say to their friends, and they go, "Dude, did you see this game that you can get on your phone? What kind of game is that? You could drive a boner." And it was like, "What are you talking about?"
I'm going to also regret this. I'm also going to regret this. What kind of upgrades could you possibly do?
You can make the balls bigger, of course. If you make the balls bigger, they'll rotate faster. You'll pick up more speed. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't it be smaller?
No, because the smaller they go, like a gear, the smaller the wheel, they'll spin faster, but you'll overall go slower. You have to keep this thing balanced down like the highway for quite a while.
So is there like? I'm gonna keep regretting asking this, but like, what else?
I mean, there's a lot of things you could do. You could do some stuff with pubic hair, of course. You could do things with veins. There's a little bit of things you can do. I didn't go into all the upgrades. I'd want to get the normal game fleshed out first. But there's things. But what I'm saying is that there is things you can do. But just imagine this: someone saying, "Dude, you could drive a wiener." Like I know it sounds weird, but it's on your phone. People are just gonna look at it just to see what it is. I'm gonna try it just to see what it is.
I mean, genital jousting is a game.
Exactly. Genital jousting is a game, and it did well. It did really well. Did you ever see genital jousting?
I have not.
Oh my god, please do yourself a favor. I can't put it on stream right now because it's banned on Twitch. But go in your Steam library and look for genital jousting.
All right, hold on.
And just put the video on and take a look at it.
Okay, hold on.
Clipped versus unclipped version. They're Big Ben. There definitely would have to be. Yes. How does dick color come into play? That would probably be, you probably just gain, you'll be part of it. You gain money or something like that, and you could transmog or whatever. You can color change or whatever. We didn't get into all those things.
Well, I mean, obviously, though, red goes faster.
Yeah, right. Yeah, red goes fast. Exactly. But imagine the things you could
kidding me?
destroy. You could be so large that you just destroy New York City. Then you're large and you just destroy Mount Vesuvius. You know what I mean? Like each level would be this huge thing. Like you just take it down. Oh, if you can even get there. That's the thing. That's the hard part. Can you pilot it well enough and balance it to even get to the end of
I'm
this track?
so concerned of how the fuck it brushed its teeth through its butthole. What the literal Are you kidding me?
He's loving it. I wish I could show it on stream, but unfortunately, we can't show that. So my microtransactions, how many dick skins on day one?
So concerned of why a dick has a butthole.
Are you checking out Big Ben? Did you check out genital jousting?
Oh, what? All right, I'm done. I'm done after just seeing that. It's one image of.
Dude, it's a party game. You could play with like 8 people. Get like 8 of your friends. Why would you want to play Mario Party when you can play that?
Never. You know what? I want to say something, but I don't know if it's stream appropriate. So I'm gonna wait till after.
Fair enough. Our loot boxes, fleshlights. Yeah. What do you think, Age? It sounds obviously weird, right? But I gotta be honest. You know, if it was done well, it would do well. There's no way around it.
I mean, I've seen people play stupider games.
It's not stupid though. I'm telling you.
Listen, that game would probably last forever only because they banned something like Flappy Bird.
It would be. That's what I would assume it to have the type of addiction like Flappy Bird would have, because people would be so frustrated.
No pun intended with the addiction, right?
People,
yeah, I see you there.
People would be so frustrated that because it would be so hard to even get it to the object that they're trying to destroy, that they'd just be furious. Like, I need to control this and let it get there. You know, I mean, dude, it could be a real winner. Retirement, big moneymaker.
I've definitely seen weirder games.
Yeah,
like I said, I spent a lot of time just going through random fucking indie forums.
Fully torqued. I'm telling you, it could be awesome.
I quit.
I couldn't program it myself, so I would never be able to actually do it. I might be able to program it.
What a great last topic.
Yeah, well, game could be a winner or a wiener. That could be in the marketing. Something like that would be in the marketing campaign. We got a winner right here. I don't even know. What time are we at? 11:19. All right. What do you guys do? You guys have anything else you just want to talk about? Anything else you just want to go over?
No, I'm drained after your wiener game conversation. I'm shot.
Now everybody's coming up with ideas. See, Big Ben, pick up blue pills instead of coins.
None of you are helping the situation.
All you can do is think about ideas. Like what else would make the game cool? Because it's a good idea. Telling you.
Oh my god. All right. On that note.
All right. I think what I'll do is we'll turn the show off. I'm gonna try not to shut my stream down if I could. I don't know if I can switch camera, but I'm just gonna go AFK for 5 minutes. Get a coffee, and I'm gonna start doing Torchlight 1, hardest difficulty, hardcore mode, and see if we can actually do it. Probably not, but we're gonna try it.
I didn't actually play a lot of it, but now that you bring that up, that is actually one other ARPG that I did actually play for a bit, and that was Torchlight 2.
Okay, Torchlight 2 is awesome. Yeah, that's a super good game. But yeah, what do you so let me see. Blue Kid, anything you got going on? Anything you want to talk about for the week? Anything you got?
Nope. I'm just gonna hopefully hop on my bandwagon of getting myself back to streaming so I can start getting going again, because work is just killing me.
Yeah.
With trying to do stream at night, and then it's I'm gonna still stick with Dead by Daylight because I love it.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been enjoying watching your Dead by Daylight streams. It's awesome. So yeah, do that. How about you, Age?
Yeah.
What do you got going on? Anything fun? Anything you want to promote? Anything you got for us?
I mean, we're still doing YouTube stuff, but we're probably not streaming this week because Ryu's got some stuff he's dealing with. If Blue Kid ends up wanting to do a Survivor stream or something like that,
I'm game for that.
With him.
I'm game for that anytime, really. Yeah. I mean, let's put it this way: I'm not working tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow.
Yeah.
My boss so nicely went to the hill climb this weekend and got completely obliterated 2 days in a row of 2.5 handles of Tito's. Hence why I did the dishwasher today, because he was too drunk to do so.
Beautiful.
So I will be on tomorrow.
Yeah, if you guys do Dead by Daylight, that'd be awesome.
I'll do it
watch. I
tomorrow.
love watching you guys play it. That'd be great.
I will. It's fun. Watch me scream like a little girl and run away.
Awesome.
So I do it anyway.
Well, I'm Burning Flux News as usual. I stream all the time, sometimes, and I'm gonna play a game in about 10 minutes. So if you guys want to hang tight, I'd very much appreciate it. If not, go give Blue Kid a follow, give Age a follow, check them out, check out all their stuff.
Yep.
And we'll might be back again next Sunday as long as we don't have issues. We should be okay. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, play it day by day. Whatever.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys later. Have a good night. Thanks for having us. See you later. Bye.
Adios.
Bye.